Hi, welcome to the second part of this topic. In the previous session, we spoke about the research methodology, methods, and design, and how they are different, and the interesting comparison between qualitative and quantitative research design. In this one, we will give more focus to the research design. And as I said previously, research design is a skeleton or an outline or the structure that describe how this research will be conducted, starting from choosing the statement of problem or the topic to analyzing and writing your report. So we call it under research design, and we'll give many different examples of research design in qualitative and quantitative. But before we giving the example, we'll talk how it is different. What's the nature, how the nature of research design differ in qualitative and in quantitative research. Speaking about the difference between qualitative and quantitative research design, quickly just remind you that quantitative research are the research that quantify the results or merely use large-scale statistics to describe the findings, whereas qualitative research on the research that goes on description, detailed, in-depth understanding of a topic, and by employing qualitative tool or methods, for example, and the most obvious one, the interview. So how the research design or the research structure differ from research in qualitative research methodology and quantitative research methodology. This table draws some of the interesting differences, okay, found on the literature, and one of the, let's focus first on the quantitative research designs or the research design. Quantitative study design are specific, and they are like quantitative, which is these with numbers, and they are well structured because they are more scientific, by the way, in the sense that they don't depend on only feelings, okay? And this is very important. They mainly focus on validity and reliability. Validity and reliability in quantitative research is very important. So we explained the concept of validity and reliability in the previous sessions, and you said that validity and reliability are indicator of the accuraciness of the procedures. Okay. Now, qualitative research, on the other hand, they focus not on, the structure is not very well clear, the structure, because they are more of explore, explain, discover. So the clarity of the structure is less when it's come to qualitative research. The quantitative research, there are many more studies designed in quantitative research compared to qualitative research. And the study research in qualitative, البحوث النوعية, they are more deductive. We deduct rather than inductive. In here, it's inductive. In here, it's really deduct. We deduct the structure. Again, the structure or the research in quantitative designs are structured and sequenced. But qualitative research, most qualitative designs are as structured, as less structured as compared to the quantitative research. Quantitative study designs have more clarity and distinction between design and methods. So the method in quantitative is, for example, let us say questionnaire. But when we will see later on, in qualitative designs are less structured, and the methods are almost methodologies there. Okay? Quantitative study design have more clarity and distinction between design, and in qualitative one, the distinction between study design and methods of data collection is less clear. One of the interesting distinction between qualitative and quantitative research design, that in the quantitative research, it's easy to check for biasness, okay? Because you have a clear structure of question that you'll ask. You cannot change them. You cannot alter them. Whereas, for example, in qualitative research, no, it's not. It's quite difficult because, for example, if it is in questionnaires, interview, sorry, while you are doing the interview, you will change, you will add some question or alter the question or modify them. So therefore, it's difficult to check the biasness. And in quantitative research, they are more suited to finding out. They are more suited to finding out the extent of this variation of and diversity. This can be represented in figures or number or statistics. Okay, but here in qualitative it's less. The focus on is to measure the variation by saying questions like how many or how much or to what extent there is different. Okay, but with qualitative we don't look at variation, like we explore the undiscovered thing, or we explore the variation and diversity and explain it, but we don't give exact figures or generalization. And studying values and belief and understanding perceptions, meaning, all this, the best methodology to apply them is through the qualitative research design. Describing the different type of research designs found in the literature, there are different classification as usual, and these classifications depend on how you are looking at them. For example, we in this session will consider the classification designed by Kumar 2019 in his book Research Methodology, and he classified the type of research in quantitative research, by the way, in quantitative based on the number of contact, time, how many you contact the participant, the reference period, the time where you do the study, and the nature of the investigation. Okay, so and under these he got different type, like almost 9 research design. Okay, we'll give a detailed description of this just in brief to see what are the different research design in quantitative research. So in quantitative, one of the criteria by which he classified the research design is based on the number of contacts with the study population. So it could be 1 time or 2 times or more. Okay, and the cross-sectional one, the cross-sectional research design, are the most common used in social sciences, and they are useful to obtain the overall picture as stand, and they are comparatively cheaper to undertake. Okay, the problem of this one that you cannot assess the change, you cannot describe the change, so you describe only the nature of the problem. Okay, an example, for example, here, what are the difficulties faced by Mizoon College students in reading English language problems, while reading English language? Very simple question. Or what are the common factors behind divorce in Muscat region, as another example? So it's only one concept. Okay, then we have another interesting model, which is the before and after design. And the best thing about it, as I said, it's measure here It's suitable for measuring the change, and so you can see how the problem is being changed. Okay, it is one of the most used design in evaluation studies. One example, that the Ministry of Health, for example, established an electronic system to deal with patient information. Now, a researcher would come and see how, to what extent this computer system has been, effective in changing the satisfaction level of the patient who are visiting hospitals in Oman. So he will take their satisfaction level before and after applying this computer, and to see to what extent that this new intervention has changed the ideas or the satisfaction level of this group of people. The main advantage of before and after design is suitable to measure change, as I said, in the phenomena or an issue. And the third type is the longitudinal study, which look at the pattern of change in relation to time with a longer period. Okay, so for example, if you want to study the perception of people adopting a program over a period, to what extent there is a change on that one. The same program, you want to study that has been any change in the perception of people according to, so you'll take this year their perception, after 1 year, and after third year, and then you will see, is there really progress in their perception of that phenomenon. Okay, the second classification of quantitative research designs, is in reference to the period of the study. So we have prospective, we have retrospective, and we have both of them, retrospective and prospective. In the first one, which is the retrospective studies, investigate the phenomena, problem, or issue that has been happened in the past. Example, the utilization of land before the Second World War in Vietnam, for example. Okay, so it explain or explore the problem or the issue in the past. Where are in the prospective one? No, it referred to the likelihood of phenomena, situation, or problem in the future. Okay, so it see the prediction of people, and for example, experiments also have been done on that one. And then the third part, see the people ideas in both future and past as well. The third classification is based on the nature of the investigation, and this very general one. We have the experimental design, and the non-experimental, and the semi-experimental or the quasi one. Okay, so experimental, for example, it's popular in medicine or in agriculture studies, where you have to control the experiment. You want to see the effect of X on Y. You want to see the effect of a new medicine on treating some issues, health issues. Then you have to do an experiment. Now in semi-experimental, it's done in for example, in educational studies, where you want to measure the effect of new technology in teaching. So you will see pre-test, post-test of students' performance, and then before and after adapting a new procedure or a new intervention. Okay, a non-experimental, which is involved no experiment, no laboratory or no experiment involved. Okay, and this is the three approach, as I said earlier, for talking or the quantitative research design. Now we will talk about some example of qualitative research design, and some example. One of the most popular one, we call it case study research. Case study. So we take a case, and then this is very famous in social science and in psychology, for example, where they want to explore the life cycle of something, of a problem or concern, by going deep into the personality of the participants. Okay, or just for giving a shed on one case, exploring some phenomena in that case. Another example is the oral history. Oral history, it's where we depend on receiving oral information from somebody who was present at some historical issue. So it focuses on some historical concerns. The other group, which is, we call it focus group research. The focus group research, focus group research tend to focus on, to get a group and then start having a dialogue with them, or an interview or a conversation, to see to collect information from them about something. Okay, then another interesting thing, which is the observation or participant observation, and we have different type of we have direct observation, non-direct observation, or something you call it participant observation or non-participant observation. For example, you remember that we have one side mirror where we'll observe some people doing some action in order to understand their psychology. Or if we get into a class trying to observe a teacher teaching, to understand his way of techniques. So it depends on collecting information through attending, being in the situation yourself as a researcher. Now, if you want to develop a theory or a philosophy, we tend to use something called the holistic study design, and which the holistic research, which depend mainly on the understanding or exploring one phenomena in a very general board, and tend to develop philosophies based on our reading, for example, or observation. The sixth type, or the sixth example, we have, for example, the community discussion or the community forum. Okay, and this one we will ask for some we will collect information through discussion with the community about some common issue which has been present in the community. And one of the very famous research, which is action research, are research that are directed to solve some practical issues, concern. This is practice in business, in education, in agriculture as well. Another example is we call it the feminist research, or the type of research that focus on the female issues, study the female problems or issues, and this is another example. This is just a simple, brief, almost 8 to 9 examples of qualitative research designs. These were just brief examples of the research designs. So throughout this session, we have covered 9 examples of research design, popular research design in quantitative research methodologies, and almost 8 designs in qualitative research as an example. You are required now to decide about your research design before starting to think on, or starting the research itself. So in your session, I would like you to think more of your research design so we can discuss it later. If you have more question on this, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much and wish you all the best.